Commander Lisa Barrett stood at the wide window of Earth Defense Station Alpha, her blue eyes fixed on the planet below. 5 years had passed since the plague hit Earth, and the view still shocked her. The once blue planet now had a slight purple tinge to its atmosphere, a constant reminder of what humanity had survived. She pressed her hand against the cold glass, remembering the day everything changed. It started with a meteor shower, beautiful lights in the sky that made everyone stop and stare. No one knew those lights carried something deadly. Commander Barrett, a young officer's voice pulled her from her thoughts. The test results are ready. Lisa turned to face Officer Ryan Cooper, noting how young he looked. Most of the survivors were young. Their bodies had somehow fought the plague better than the older generations. "Show me," she said, following him to the medical bay. The station's medical bay was busy as usual. Dr. Kate Morris waited for them, holding a tablet with the latest test results. Her face showed a mix of worry and excitement, an expression Lisa had gotten used to seeing on the scientists lately. "You need to see this," Kate said, pulling up a video on the large screen. "We finally know why we survived." The screen showed human cells under a microscope, but these weren't normal cells. As they watched, a laser burned through one, and then the cell simply rebuilt itself. "That's impossible," Lisa whispered, but she knew better. Nothing was impossible anymore. "We're not just immune," Kate explained, her voice shaking a little. "We're different now. The plague didn't just try to kill us. It changed us. Every survivor's cells do this. We can heal from almost anything." Lisa thought about all the strange reports from the past few months. Workers surviving accidents that should have killed them. A child who fell from a 10-story building, only to stand up and walk away. She had tried to ignore these stories, but now. "There's more," Kate continued. "The plague spores are still in us, but they're dormant. They've become part of our DNA. We're carrying it, but it can't hurt us anymore. We're its home now." A cold feeling settled in Lisa's stomach. "Are we contagious?" Kate nodded slowly. "Yes and no. The spores only activate under specific conditions, but if they do..." She left the sentence hanging. The implications hit Lisa hard. Earth's survivors, all 4 billion of them, were now carriers of the most devastating plague in human history. But instead of killing them, it had made them practically immortal. "How long can we keep this secret?" Lisa asked, already knowing the answer. "We can't," Ryan spoke up, pointing to another screen showing deep space readings. "Look at these signals. 3 different alien ships have passed by our solar system in the last month. They're watching us. They must have noticed that we survived something that should have wiped us out." Lisa walked back to the window, looking at Earth again. The purple haze seemed darker now, more threatening. Or maybe that was just her imagination. "We need to prepare," she said firmly. "If aliens know we survived, they'll want to know how. And when they find out what we've become..." She turned to face her team. "They'll either want to destroy us or use us. We need to be ready for both." Over the next few weeks, Lisa worked with Earth's remaining military leaders to organize their defenses. The plague had left them with fewer ships and weapons, but they had something else now: soldiers who couldn't die easily. They ran tests in secret. Volunteers exposed themselves to space without suits, surviving in the vacuum for impossible lengths of time. Others tested their healing abilities, recovering from wounds that would have been fatal before. Each test revealed new abilities, new changes in their biology. But the most stunning discovery came from the communication department. Susan Martinez, a communications officer, first noticed it during a routine system check. "Commander," Susan called one morning, her voice urgent. "I'm picking up signals from inside people's heads." The plague spores had created a network, connecting all survivors through what scientists called quantum entanglement. They could share thoughts, feelings, and memories across vast distances. Earth's survivors were becoming a linked consciousness, though each person kept their individuality. "We're not human anymore, are we?" Ryan asked one evening as they reviewed the latest findings. Lisa looked at her young officer, seeing the fear and wonder in his eyes. "We're still human," she said firmly. "We're just more now. Evolution took a giant leap forward, and we have to deal with it." As if to prove her point, the station's alarms suddenly blared to life. "Unknown ships detected," a voice announced over the speakers. "Multiple vessels entering the solar system." Lisa rushed to the command center, her heart racing. The main screen showed 5 massive ships approaching from the direction of Alpha Centauri. Their design was clearly alien. All curved lines and strange geometries the human ships never used. "First contact," someone whispered behind her. "They're finally here." Lisa stood straighter, feeling the weight of command on her shoulders. Through the new network that connected all survivors, she could sense millions of others watching through her eyes, feeling her determination. "Send the alert to all Earth defense stations," she ordered. "But don't show hostile intent. Let's see what they want first." She paused, then added, "But have all weapons ready, just in case." As the alien ships grew larger on their screens, Lisa thought about everything humanity had endured. The plague had nearly destroyed them, but they had survived. More than survived, they had changed, adapted, become something new. Something that might make even advanced alien civilizations think twice about attacking Earth. "Open all channels," she commanded. "Let's greet our visitors." The alien ships were now close enough to see clearly. Their hulls shimmered with an odd metallic rainbow effect that human technology couldn't match. They were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. As Lisa prepared for humanity's first contact with alien life, she couldn't help but smile grimly. These aliens, whoever they were, had no idea what they were dealing with. Earth's survivors weren't victims anymore. They were something new, something powerful. They were humanity's next step in evolution, created through suffering and survival. And if these aliens came as friends, Earth would share its gifts. But if they came as enemies, well, they would learn why Earth's survivors were called the Death-Touched. A signal came through from the lead alien ship. The first words from another civilization were about to be heard on Earth. Lisa took a deep breath, feeling the support of billions through their shared connection. "This is Commander Lisa Barrett of Earth Defense Station Alpha," she broadcast clearly. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to our solar system." The response would determine humanity's next steps. But whatever came next, Earth was ready. They had paid the price of survival, and now they would face the consequences, good or bad, together. The alien ships hung in space like giant silver birds. Robert Kelly stood at his tactical station, watching their every move. As Earth's youngest tactical officer at age 24, he noticed things others might miss. Right now, something about these ships bothered him. "Their weapons are powered up," he said quietly to Commander Barrett. "They're trying to hide it, but I can see the energy readings." Lisa Barrett nodded, keeping her face calm despite the news. The alien ships had arranged themselves in a circle around Earth Defense Station Alpha. It looked friendly enough, but Robert was right. Their weapons were ready to fire. The main screen lit up, showing their first view of an alien. The creature looked almost human, but with pale purple skin and large, silver eyes. It wore what looked like a military uniform. "Greetings, Earth survivors," the alien spoke in perfect English. "I am High Commander Zextal of the Galactic Confederation. We came as soon as we detected your recovery." Robert didn't like the way the alien said recovery. Through humanity's new shared connection, he could feel others had the same worry. "We welcome peaceful contact," Lisa replied carefully. "Though we notice your weapons are powered up. Is there a reason for concern?" The alien's silver eyes narrowed slightly. "A precaution only. You see, we've been watching Earth since the plague hit. By all our calculations, your species should be extinct. Instead, you survived. We need to understand how." Robert's hands moved quietly over his console, running deeper scans of the alien ships. Through the quantum network that connected all survivors, He sent his findings to other tactical officers around Earth. Something was definitely wrong. "We'd be happy to share information," Lisa said, "once proper diplomatic relations are established." "I'm afraid we can't wait for diplomacy," Zextal said. His friendly tone disappeared. "Your planet is under quarantine. We can't risk whatever change you spreading to other worlds." Suddenly, a purple energy field appeared between the alien ships, forming a cage around Earth Defense Station Alpha. Similar fields appeared around Earth's other defense stations. "This is a containment field," Zextal explained. "Don't resist. We're going to begin collecting samples of your population for study." Robert had seen enough. He sent a quick signal through the quantum network, connecting with Susan Martinez in communications and Dr. Kate Morris in medical. Together, they had prepared for something like this. "Commander," he said clearly, "permission to show our visitors why quarantine won't work." Lisa smiled slightly, understanding his plan. "Permission granted, Officer Kelly." Robert pressed a button, opening the station's airlocks. The alien ship's sensors must have detected this because Zextal suddenly looked alarmed. "What are you doing?" the alien demanded. "You'll kill everyone in the station." "No," Robert said calmly. "We won't." The station's crew calmly walked into the airlocks. As the doors opened to space, they floated out, with no spacesuits. Through the quantum network, Robert could feel similar scenes happening at other stations around Earth. Zextal's silver eyes went wide with shock. Impossible. No species can survive in space. The humans floated through the purple containment field like it wasn't there. Their bodies had adapted to handle any environment, even the vacuum of space. More than that, they could absorb energy, even from weapons and force fields. "We tried to be diplomatic," Lisa said, her voice carrying through the vacuum thanks to their new abilities. "We would have explained everything properly. But you chose force instead." The alien ships opened fire, shooting purple energy beams at the floating humans. But something amazing happened. The humans' bodies absorbed the energy, growing stronger. Some even started to glow with a purple light of their own. Through the quantum network, Robert coordinated with other tactical officers. They had practiced this move many times. As one, the floating humans raised their hands. Purple energy shot from their palms. The same energy the aliens had tried to use against them. "How?" Zextal demanded, his voice shaking. "How are you doing this?" "The plague changed us," Robert explained. "We don't just heal anymore. We adapt. We learn. Your weapons made us stronger. Your containment field taught us how to project energy. Would you like to see what else we can do?" The alien ships started to back away, but it was too late. The humans had absorbed enough energy to disable their engines. Purple lightning jumped from person to person, forming a new containment field, this time around the alien ships. "Now then," Lisa said firmly, floating in space before Zextal's ship. "Let's try this again. We are willing to talk peacefully, but if you choose violence..." She let the threat hang in the air. The aliens quickly powered down their weapons. Through their shared connection, Robert could feel Earth's survivors celebrating. Their first contact with aliens had turned from a potential disaster into a show of strength. But something worried him. He connected with Dr. Morris through the network. "Kate, are you seeing this?" he asked, sending her his sensor readings. "Yes," she replied mentally. "The aliens' bodies are reacting to our presence. The dormant plague spores in us. They're reaching out." Robert watched his screens carefully. The aliens didn't know it yet, but their brief exposure to the floating humans had already changed them. The plague that had transformed humanity was spreading, but slowly, controlled. "Commander," he said aloud, "we should invite our visitors to the medical bay. There's something they need to know." Lisa nodded, understanding through their shared link. "Hi, Commander Zextal," she broadcast. "We're willing to overlook your hostile actions. In fact, we need to tell you something important about what's already happening to your people. The alien leader's silver eyes showed fear for the first time. He must have received reports about strange changes in his crew. "What have you done to us?" "Nothing you didn't bring on yourself," Lisa replied. "But don't worry. We'll help you through the changes. After all, we've been through them ourselves." As medical teams helped the aliens dock with the station, Robert kept scanning their ships. The Confederation had made a serious mistake today. They had tried to cage humanity, not understanding that Earth's survivors couldn't be contained anymore. Through the quantum network, he felt Earth's 4 billion survivors sharing his thoughts. They weren't victims to be studied. They were the next step in evolution, and now that evolution was spreading to the stars. "Ready the medical bay," Lisa ordered, "and send word to Earth's governments. Tell them." She paused, looking at the scared aliens. "Tell them the galaxy is about to change, and we're going to help it change for the better." Robert nodded, sending the message through their network. The aliens had come to quarantine Earth, but instead, they would leave transformed. The question was, would the rest of the galaxy accept this change or fight it? Either way, humanity was ready. They had paid the price of survival, and now they would help others survive too, whether they wanted to or not. Chief Science Officer Amanda Nash hadn't slept in 3 days. She stood in her lab aboard Earth Defense Station Alpha, staring at her computer screen. The data from the transformed alien visitors filled the display with strange patterns she'd never seen before. "Look at this," she said to her assistant Ben Powell, pointing at the screen. "The plague spores aren't just changing them. They're talking to each other." Ben leaned closer, his tired eyes widening. "Talking? You mean like our quantum network?" "No," Amanda said, shaking her head. "Something different. Something older." She pulled up another screen showing ancient star maps. "I've been tracking the plague's origin. It's not natural, Ben. Someone made it." The lab door opened, and Commander Lisa Barrett walked in with Robert Kelly. Through their shared connection, Amanda could feel their curiosity and concern. "Tell them what you found." Ben encouraged. Amanda took a deep breath. "The plague isn't just a weapon or a virus. It's a message." She pointed to her findings. "I've decoded parts of its structure. It's artificial, created by an ancient race that died out millions of years ago." Lisa stepped closer to the screen. "A message? What does it say?" "It's more like instructions," Amanda explained. "The plague was designed to change people, to make them stronger. The ancient race knew something was coming, something terrible. They created this as a way to prepare other species." Robert frowned. "But it killed so many people. How is that preparing us?" "Because it only keeps the strongest," Amanda said quietly. "Those who survive become nearly immortal. And there's more." She pressed a button, showing a new set of data. "The spores in our bodies, they're not just letting us talk to each other. They're letting us talk to the dead." The room went silent. Even through their quantum network, Amanda could feel the shock from the others. "The dead?" Lisa asked carefully. "What do you mean?" Amanda walked to a sealed container in the corner of her lab. Inside was a glowing purple crystal. When people died from the plague, their consciousness didn't disappear. It was absorbed into these crystals that formed in their bodies. We thought they were just a side effect. They're not. They're storage devices. She placed her hand on the container. Suddenly, voices filled everyone's minds. Whispers from those who had died. Memories, thoughts, and warnings flowed through their quantum network. "The ancient race," Amanda continued, her voice shaking. "They knew they were going to die out, but they didn't want their knowledge to die with them. So they created these crystals to store their consciousness. The plague spreads them, creates new storage spaces in new species." Ben stepped forward. "That's why the aliens are so afraid. Their ships picked up these whispers when they entered our solar system. They could hear the dead talking." Through their connection, Amanda felt Lisa's mind racing, planning. The commander turned to Robert. How are our alien guests doing with their transformation? Scared, Robert reported, but surviving. Their change is happening faster than ours did, like their bodies already knew what to expect. Because the plague remembers, Amanda explained. Each time it changes a species, it learns, adapts, gets better at its job. She pulled up more data. The Confederation ships that tried to quarantine us. They've already sent messages back to their worlds. They're telling everyone about the humans who can't die, who whisper to the dead, who float in space and absorb energy. Lisa nodded slowly. And how are they telling the story? Are we monsters to them? Some think so, Robert said. But others. He paused, checking his communications. We're getting signals from other alien worlds. Some of them want to know more. They're curious about the change. Amanda walked to her window, looking out at the transformed alien ships. Their hulls had started to show the same purple tinge that Earth's atmosphere had. The ancient race called themselves the predecessors, she said. They saw something coming from the edges of the galaxy, something that destroyed entire civilizations. They didn't have time to fight it themselves, so they created this plague, this gift, to help future species prepare. Through the quantum network, she felt millions of minds processing this information. Earth's survivors, and now the transformed aliens, all understanding their new purpose. How long? Lisa asked. How long until this threat reaches us? Amanda turned back to her computer, pulling up calculations, based on the predecessor's warnings. A few years, maybe less. But we're not ready yet. We need more allies, more transformed species. The predecessors believed only united, changed life forms could fight this enemy. The whispers from the crystal grew stronger, showing them visions of the coming threat. Beams of pure energy that consumed organic life, leaving empty galaxies in their wake. The Confederation will try to stop us, Robert warned. They'll see the spreading transformation as a threat. Let them try, Lisa said firmly. We'll prove we're not the enemy. Every species we transform is one more that might survive what's coming. Amanda looked at her data again. The predecessors had a name for transformed species like us. In their language, it meant death-touched. Those who had died but lived again, changed and stronger. Through their connection, she felt Earth's survivors embracing this name. The death-touched, not monsters, but guardians. Changed so they could protect others. Send messages to all Earth stations, Lisa commanded, and to our transformed alien friends. Tell them everything. About the predecessors, about what's coming. Let them make their own choice. Fight the change and face the threat alone, or join us and have a chance at survival. As Amanda prepared the data to share, she felt the whispers growing stronger. The dead spoke more clearly now, sharing ancient knowledge, battle plans, and warnings. The predecessors had died out, but their wisdom lived on in the changed bodies of humanity and their new alien allies. The plague was never meant to end life, she said quietly. It was meant to change it, to make it strong enough to survive what's coming. Outside her window, more alien ships appeared, not Confederation vessels, but others, coming to learn about the change. The death-touched were growing in number. Soon, they would be ready to face the threat that had scared even the mighty predecessors. The ancient race had died out, but their final gift was spreading among the stars, preparing the galaxy for war. And humanity, Earth's survivors, would lead the way. Captain Daniel Wright stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defiant, watching the stars blur past. His ship led Earth's first space fleet, racing to help a group of friendly aliens under attack. The Confederation had hired the Crimson Mercenaries, the deadliest soldiers in the galaxy, to hunt down anyone who welcomed the transformation. 10 minutes to target, his navigator, Alice Reeves, announced. The mercenaries have cornered 3 transport ships carrying transformed aliens. Daniel nodded, feeling the determination of his crew through their shared connection. The Defiant's crew was entirely death-touched, their bodies enhanced by the plague that had nearly destroyed Earth. Now they were about to face their first real space battle. "All hands ready," he ordered. "Remember your training. We can survive in space if the ship is damaged. They can't." Through the quantum network, he felt responses from every crew member. They were ready. The fleet of 5 Earth ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, emerging into chaos. The scene before them was brutal. 20 mercenary ships surrounded 3 civilian transports. The transport ships' hulls glowed purple. They carried transformed aliens trying to reach Earth for safety. "Crimson Leader to Earth vessels," a rough voice came through their communications. "Leave now. This isn't your fight." Daniel stepped forward. "This is Captain Wright of the U.S. Defiant. Those transports are under our protection. Stand down." Laughter came through the speakers. "You death-touched think you're invincible. Let's test that." The mercenary ships opened fire, but Earth's fleet was ready. Instead of dodging, they absorbed the energy attacks. The ships' hulls, modified with the same properties as their transformed crews, soaked up the power and grew stronger. "Show them what we can do," Daniel commanded. His weapons officer, Frank Carter, pressed the attack buttons. The Defiant and its sister ships released the stored energy, sending it back at the mercenaries. 3 enemy ships exploded instantly. "Impossible," the mercenary leader shouted. "No one can redirect energy weapons." "We're not no one," Daniel replied calmly. "We're the death-touched. Last warning. Leave these transports alone." Instead of retreating, the mercenaries tried a new tactic. They launched boarding pods at Earth's ships. Through the quantum network, Daniel felt his crew's excitement. This was what they had trained for. "Let them board," he ordered. "Show them why that's a mistake." The boarding pods crashed into the Defiant's hull. Mercenaries in heavy armor burst in, carrying weapons that could cut through any normal human. But the death-touched crew wasn't normal anymore. Security teams led by Officer Sarah Wells met the boarders head-on. When the mercenaries' weapons hit them, the crew's bodies simply absorbed the energy and healed. Then something unexpected happened. "Captain." Sarah's voice came through the network. "The mercenaries. They're getting infected." Daniel rushed to the security cameras. The mercenaries' armor had been breached in the fight. Now the plague spores that lived in the death-touched were spreading to them. But instead of dying, the mercenaries began to change. "Stop fighting," he broadcast to everyone. "You're being transformed. We can help you through it." Some mercenaries panicked, trying to run. Others fell to their knees as the change took them. Through the quantum network, Daniel felt new minds joining their connection. The first unwillingly transformed aliens. "Captain," Alice called out. "More Confederation ships approaching." They must have been waiting nearby. Daniel made a quick decision. "Get the transformed mercenaries to medical. Protect those transport ships. The Confederation needs to see we're not the monsters they think we are." The space battle turned into a rescue mission. Earth's ships formed a barrier around the transports and the mercenary vessels carrying transforming crews. When the Confederation fleet arrived, they found the death-touched helping their former enemies. "This is why you fear us," Daniel broadcast to the Confederation ships, "because we help even those who try to kill us." Through the quantum network, he felt the new transforms understanding what they had become. The mercenaries' minds joined the vast connection of death-touched consciousness, learning the truth about the predecessors and the coming threat. "Sir," Frank reported, "the transformed mercenaries. They're offering to help us. They want to warn their other teams about what's coming from the galaxy's edge." Daniel smiled. This was how it would happen. Not through force, but through understanding. Each new transform added their knowledge and skills to the network. The mercenaries knew secret routes, hidden bases, and most importantly, they knew how their former employers thought. "Send word to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them what happened here. The transformation can't be stopped now. It's spreading across the galaxy. But we can guide it, help others survive the change." The Confederation ships kept their distance, watching as the death-touched fleet helped the transformed mercenaries. Their greatest fear had come true. The plague could spread through combat. But they had also seen something unexpected: mercy, help, and unity. "Captain," Alice said softly, "the mercenary leader is asking to speak with you. He's different now. Connected." Daniel nodded. The former mercenary leader appeared on his screen, his skin now showing the slight purple tinge of the transformed. His eyes held the look of someone who had died and been reborn stronger. "We were wrong," the mercenary said simply. "We thought you were spreading death, but you're spreading salvation. The things I can see now, the whispers from the dead." He paused. "The threat that's coming. We'll help you fight it." Through their connection, Daniel felt Earth's leaders receiving his report. Humanity's gift was spreading faster than anyone had expected. The galaxy was changing, preparing for the war that the predecessors had foreseen. "Welcome to the death-touched," Daniel said to the transformed mercenary. "Together, we'll save this galaxy, whether it wants to be saved or not." As his fleet escorted the transport ships and transformed mercenary vessels back to Earth, Daniel looked at the stars. The Confederation would respond to this, probably with even greater force. But now they had proof. Fighting the death-touched only made them stronger, only spread the transformation faster. The real question was, would the galaxy unite in time to face the greater threat approaching from its edges? Through the quantum network, Daniel felt billions of minds, human and alien, all asking the same thing. The answer would come soon enough. For now, they had won their first battle and gained unexpected allies. The death-touched Armada was growing stronger every day. Security Director Laura Martinez floated in space near the edge of the solar system, watching purple crystals grow in the void. These crystals, filled with the whispers of the dead, had started appearing everywhere the death-touched went. But these new ones were different. "They're getting bigger," she said through the quantum network to her team. "And the whispers, they're more urgent." Her assistant, Jack Chen, floated nearby, scanning the crystals with special equipment. Both of them had left their ship to study the formations up close, their transformed bodies protected from the vacuum of space. "The predecessors are trying to tell us something," Jack said, looking at his readings. "These crystals appeared right after that energy surge we detected from the galaxy's edge." Laura touched one of the crystals. Instantly, visions filled her mind. And through her, the minds of all death-touched connected to the network. She saw vast clouds of glowing energy moving between stars, leaving dead worlds in their wake. "We need to call an emergency meeting," she said quickly. "Everyone needs to see this." An hour later, Laura stood in the main hall of Earth Defense Station Alpha. The room was packed with both human and alien leaders of the death-touched. Through their shared connection, billions more watched and listened. "The predecessors didn't just create the plague to make us stronger," Laura explained, showing the crystal recordings. "They created it because they found something terrible." She pointed to the images of the energy clouds. "The Void Collective, beings of pure energy that feed on organic life." Commander Lisa Barrett stepped forward. "How long have you known about this?" "We just confirmed it," Laura replied. "The crystals have been showing us pieces, but now we have the whole picture." She brought up a star map. "The predecessors found the Void Collective at the galaxy's edge. They tried to fight them but failed. That's when they created the plague, not as a weapon, but as a way to evolve life itself." Captain Daniel Wright, fresh from his battle with the mercenaries, spoke up. "The transformation lets us absorb and redirect energy. We can survive in space. We can communicate across vast distances." His eyes widened. "We were designed to fight these things." Laura nodded. "The predecessors knew they were doomed, so they created a way for future species to survive. The plague doesn't just change our bodies. It changes the basic rules of how we exist. We're becoming something new, something that can fight beings of pure energy." Through the quantum network, she felt waves of understanding spread through the death-touched population. Every strange new ability they had gained suddenly made sense. "But there's more," Jack added, stepping forward. "Show them what we found in the deep space scans." Laura brought up new images. They showed empty regions of space where stars should be. "The Void Collective is already here, at the edges of our galaxy. They're moving slowly, consuming everything in their path. The predecessors' warnings say we have less than 2 years before they reach populated worlds." The room erupted in worried discussion, both spoken and through the network. But something else was happening too. More alien ships were arriving in the solar system, not to attack, but to ask for the transformation. "They're scared," Lisa observed. "Word about the Void Collective is spreading. Some species would rather face the change than face extinction." Laura walked to the window, watching the arrival of more ships. "We need to be careful. The transformation is spreading faster than ever. Not everyone survives the change. We can't just transform entire species without warning them of the risks." Through their connection, she felt agreement from Earth's leaders. They had learned the hard way about the price of transformation, but they had also learned how to help others through it. "Director Martinez," a voice called. An alien diplomat, already showing signs of transformation, approached her. "My people want to know, can the transformation be controlled? Can we choose who changes and who doesn't?" Laura shook her head. "The plague spores spread in ways we can't fully control, but we can help prepare people, make the change easier." She paused. "The real question is, will your people help us fight what's coming? The transformation isn't just a gift. It's a responsibility." More visions flowed from the crystals, showing the Void Collective's destruction in detail. Entire civilizations had fallen, their energy absorbed by the cosmic predators. But the recordings also showed something else, the predecessors' last battles, where they had discovered ways to hurt the energy beings. "Look at this," Jack said, highlighting part of the recording. The predecessors found that unified consciousness, combined with energy absorption abilities, could harm the Void Collective. That's why the plague creates the quantum network between all transformed beings. Laura felt a new message coming through the network. Ships from the Confederation were approaching. But these weren't warships. They were research vessels, led by scientists who wanted to study the transformation. "They're starting to understand," Lisa said. "The Confederation is splitting between those who fear us and those who see the bigger threat." Through their connection, Laura felt Earth's leaders making decisions. They would welcome those who came willingly, help them transform safely, but they wouldn't force the change on anyone. The price was too high to demand it of others. "Send messages to all our stations and allies," Laura ordered. "Show them what we've learned about the Void Collective. Let each species decide for themselves. Face the threat alone, or join the death-touched and have a chance at survival." As she looked out at the growing fleet of alien ships, Laura touched the crystal again. The predecessors' last messages flowed through her mind. Not just warnings, but hope. They had died believing that future species would finish what they started, would unite and evolve to face the threat they couldn't defeat. "We're running out of time," she said quietly. "The Void Collective is coming, and we're the only ones prepared to fight them. The question is, how many will join us before it's too late?" The crystal pulsed with purple light, its whispers spreading through the quantum network. The dead spoke to the living, sharing their knowledge and their fear. The galaxy was about to change forever, one way or another, and the death-touched would lead that change, whether they were ready or not. Admiral Peter Harrison looked at the massive fleet gathered around Earth. 10,000 ships, crewed by humans and aliens alike, all transformed, all connected through the quantum network. The death-touched Armada was ready for its first major battle. "They're here," his sensor officer, Linda Mason, announced. Void Collective energy signatures detected at the edge of the Arcturus system. Through their shared connection, Peter felt billions of minds focus on the threat. The enemy they had prepared for had finally arrived. On his main screen, he could see the Void Collective, massive clouds of purple-white energy that moved between the stars. All ships, battle positions, he ordered. Remember your training. Remember what the predecessors taught us. The death-touched fleet moved into formation. Each ship's hull glowed with stored energy, enhanced by the same plague that had transformed their crews. They had spent months practicing for this moment, learning to combine their abilities through the quantum network. Admiral, Linda called out, the Void Collective is talking to us. A strange voice filled their minds, neither male nor female, neither young nor old. We have consumed 1,000 galaxies, it said. Your evolution does not frighten us. You will feed us, like all the others. Peter stood from his command chair. You've never faced anything like us. We are the death-touched, heirs to the predecessors. We do not fear death. We've already conquered it. The Void Collective responded with action. Energy beams brighter than stars shot toward the fleet. But the death-touched were ready. Their ships absorbed the attack, their hulls glowing brighter. Now, Peter commanded, show them what we can do. 10,000 ships fired as one, their crews linked through the quantum network. They didn't just shoot energy weapons. They sent back the Void Collective's own power, modified by the plague's ability to transform energy itself. The enemy screamed. For the first time in their ancient existence, the energy beings felt pain. Through the quantum network, Peter coordinated the fleet's movements. The capital ships formed a massive circle, their crews working together to create something never seen before. Crystal formation beginning, Linda reported, watching her screens in awe. Between the death-touched ships, giant purple crystals began to grow in space. But these weren't normal memory crystals. They were weapons, designed using the predecessor's knowledge. Each one could trap and transform the Void Collective's energy. You cannot stop us, the enemy voice boomed. We are eternal. We are infinite. No, Peter replied calmly. You're just energy. And we know how to change energy. The battle raged across the star system. The Void Collective sent wave after wave of energy attacks, but each one made the death-touched stronger. The transformed humans and aliens worked in perfect unity, their shared consciousness allowing them to fight as one being. Through the quantum network, Peter felt the crystals working. Each time they caught some of the Void Collective's energy, it changed, becoming something new. The enemy wasn't being destroyed. It was being transformed, just like the plague had transformed organic life. Sir, Linda shouted, the Confederation fleet has arrived. Peter turned to see hundreds of untransformed ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. The Confederation had refused to join the death-touched, claiming they would find their own way to fight the Void Collective. Now they saw the truth. The energy beings tore through the Confederation ships like they were made of paper. No normal weapons could hurt them. No standard shields could stop them. Save them, Peter ordered. Show them why we needed to change. The death-touched fleet moved to protect the dying Confederation ships. Where normal shields failed, their energy-absorbing abilities worked. Through the quantum network, Peter could feel the fear and awe from the surviving Confederation crews. You were right, the Confederation Admiral transmitted. We should have listened. It's not too late, Peter replied. The transformation is a gift, freely given. Will you take it now? As the battle continued, escape pods from the Confederation ships docked with the death-touched fleet. Their crews chose transformation over death, joining the quantum network even as the change took them. The Void Collective gathered its energy for one final attack. The combined power of 1,000 consumed stars struck the death-touched fleet, but instead of destroying them, it made them stronger than ever. Together, Peter commanded through the network. Every transformed being, every ship, every crystal focused their power. They didn't just absorb the enemy's energy. They changed its very nature. The Void Collective screamed again, but this time in surprise rather than pain. Their energy was being transformed, becoming like the plague itself, a force for change rather than destruction. What? What are you doing to us? The enemy voice asked, showing fear for the first time. The same thing that was done to us, Peter explained, making you into something new, something better. The battle ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The Void Collective's energy, changed by the combined power of the Death-Touched, became part of the Crystal Network. Their consciousness joined the quantum link, adding their ancient knowledge to the shared mind of transformed life. As the dust settled, Peter looked at his fleet. They had won, but more importantly, they had shown the galaxy a new way. The Confederation ships that had survived were already changing, their crews joining the Death-Touched willingly. "Send word to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them it's done. The threat is over, but our work is just beginning." Through the quantum network, he felt the joy of billions. The Void Collective had been changed, transformed from destroyers into part of the great consciousness that connected all death-touched beings. The predecessors' final gift had done more than save the galaxy. It had changed the very nature of life and death. "What now, Admiral?" Linda asked, looking at the transformed energy beings that had once been their greatest enemy. Peter smiled. "Now we grow. We learn. We help others transform safely." He paused, feeling the vast network of minds all thinking together. The predecessors created us to save life. Now that we have, we can focus on making it better. The Death-Touched fleet headed home, their ships accompanied by the beautiful glow of transformed void energy. They had faced the galaxy's greatest threat and turned it into their greatest ally. Through change and unity, they had found not just survival, but a new way of existing. Earth's Death-Touched Armada had become more than just humanity's shield. They were now the guardians of all life, helping the galaxy evolve into something greater than anyone had imagined possible. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as the fleet jumped to faster than light travel. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: the age of division was over. The time of unity, of transformation, of growth had begun. And it had all started with a plague that brought humanity to the brink of extinction, only to raise them up as the saviors of all life in the galaxy.